Hello, Whiskey Network. It's Mark Pruett. I'm here with Sean Mullen, my fellow Whiskey Network writer, and we have an incredible guest with us today. As always, be sure to like, subscribe, and interact with us across Facebook and YouTube. Without any further ado, after a 19-year NHL career, he is the fourth winningest goalie in history, a member of the Hockey Hall of Fame, and only one of two players to win an NC2A championship, an Olympic gold medal, and the Stanley Cup. What an incredible resume that is. Now he's bringing his grit, determination, and talent to the world of whiskey. As the CEO of Belfour Spirits, he is taking the world of whiskey by storm. We will absolutely get more into that. Whiskey Network, please join me in welcoming Ed Belfour. Ed, thank you for joining us today.
Hey, Mark. Hey, Sean. Thanks for having me. And it's a pleasure to be on your show and get a chance to talk about some great whiskey and then hockey for sure.
Absolutely. That's great. So let's start out. I don't know how long you've been drinking whiskey, but can you share with us an early memory of whiskey? What got you into whiskey?
That's pretty funny because, growing up in Canada, growing up with rye whiskey, and most of us started drinking beer when we were 10 or 11 years old. And I remember having my first sip of whiskey with my dad. It was at a Christmas work party. And, the guys were all sitting around having if I remember right, it was Crown Royal. And Dad asked me if I wanted to try it. And I was like, heck yeah, I did want to try it. So that was my first introduction was from Dad. And, got a chance to sip on it a little bit. And, of course, your first time trying it, it's pretty strong and potent. So something I'll never forget. And I appreciate my dad providing that opportunity for me.
So I would imagine throughout your career, just socially, whiskey has been available. Was there a moment in time where whiskey became something that wasn't just something to drink, but it became more of an interest, more of a hobby, something that made you want to get more into whiskey?
Well, I think, once I was introduced to bourbon, you start, trying different bourbons and you just, get curious about, because none of them taste exactly the same. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's a very creative field for myself. I've always had that creative side to me. Always enjoyed working on my equipment and designing equipment. So kind of fit naturally into the world of whiskeys. And, after my career, we were looking for something to do together as a family. And, I thought it would be interesting to look into the spirits industry. And Dane had just done uh, a paper at school about the spirits industry. And then he showed me his paper and he did a great job on it. And it was almost like perfect timing. Um, we started talking about, getting into the spirits business, and we were watching an episode of Moonshiners and having a good chuckle. And, we were, we were, we were like, hey, you know what, if those guys can make, you know, some pretty good moonshine in the backwoods and stuff, which, been going on for hundreds of years. And, we thought, you know what, let's order a still and see how good we could get at making whiskey for ourselves and for our friends. And obviously we learned pretty quickly that that was highly illegal. So we chose we chose the route after that to figure out how to get some licensing and quickly realized there's a lot of red tape and hoops you have to jump through to get licensing. So we decided to create Belfour Spirits and do it on a much larger scale. Uh, we didn't think it was going to get this large, but we have 2,700 barrels aging now, and we're getting ready to hopefully build our distillery in the next year here in Texas somewhere, and it's been a lot of fun. So uh, I think that first, uh, was initiation to whiskey with my dad. Uh, Somewhere along the line, my mom and dad told me that Grandma and Grandpa Belfour were doing some type of moonshining. I don't know what they were making, but uh, back in the farm, that was the story. And we got this beautiful picture of Grandma and Grandpa, and from the 20s. So there was some inspiration there from my family too, and I just think it's a good fit for our family. It's a very social business. Everyone loves to have fun and do tastings and just have a great time. And that's what hockey is all about, is that socializing and yeah, we play hard, but we also party hard. And we have a great time after celebrating wins and victories. And I remember coming back to Winnipeg to play the Jets when I was with the Blackhawks, and that would have been like in the early 90s.
Hmm.
So our sports recovery drink back then was Labatt's Blue and Crown Royal. They would put that on. They would put that on the table, after the game, and guys could have a beer if they wanted to, or have a sip on the whiskey. But we didn't have all the sports drinks that are available nowadays. But looking back on it, that's pretty cool having a Labatt's Blue there.
Okay, I'm making a note to myself. So I got to go find some Labatt's again, and I gotta mix it up with some whiskey. You went over a ton of awesome stuff there, and I just want to make sure that we don't forget a lot of that stuff. There's definitely time for us to get into the idea of the distillery, and I absolutely want to explore more the family aspect of it, because that is something that really shines through about it. If you'll indulge me, I do want to take you back to the beginnings of whiskey. And hey, if somebody from Discovery Network is watching and we want to get Ed on the Moonshiner show, out of my hands, but there you go, Ed. Let's see what happens.
That could be a lot of fun. They have those competitions going on now. I enjoy watching that, but
we'll see you on the good side of the show, not the bad side of the show, not the cop side. We'll see you on the Moonshiner side.
There you go.
Going back to whiskey, when you mentioned bourbon, what specific flavors do you like when you personally enjoy bourbon?
Well, I look for the caramels and vanillas. I like the sweeter
Mhm.
side on the bourbons. I really enjoy Elijah Craig. Always have. Maker's Mark is probably one of the ones that we first started drinking. Really enjoyed how smooth and easy it was to drink, and we um, kind of went after that same approach with a wheated mash bill for our first bourbons.
Hmm.
It's a 60-30-10 mash bill,
Hmm.
ours is, and we think that it's smooth and pretty easy for everyone to drink. The proof point we selected was uh, highly worked on and gone through to find that sweet spot. We always try to find the sweet spot so that we can engage anybody with our products and not get that bitter whiskey face that you get from some whiskeys that are just too potent or a little off on their flavor profiles. But that's we're very proud about that. And um, again, for me, I like the smoothness, uh, the caramels, the vanillas, and I do like when you get a little bit of smoke in there.
Hmm. So I've tried these two, which are the bourbon that's finished in the pecan barrels and then the rye. And I'll tell you what, the bourbon finished in pecan just knocked me over. What an absolutely unique whiskey. You're absolutely right. It's those, it's the smooth characteristic. It's just the right proof point. Um, but what got to me was the nose on it. The nose is just absolutely incredible. You get the pecans out of nowhere. It's just a very unique experience. The rye, I also had a taste of that, and I don't like all rye. I like this rye. It has a very smooth characteristic, but it's also got a little bit of that spice kick that's going on from that perspective. So you are absolutely hitting the bullseye from what it is that you're saying from the products that you are putting out. One of the things that we believe at the Whiskey Network, and something that we espouse in the stories that we tell the social media community, exactly to your point, whiskey is a very social thing. Whiskey is meant to be shared. I'm sharing your whiskey with some of my friends. I wish I could get it across the border to share it with Sean. Sean, I know you had some questions regarding just, some whiskey rituals or some follow-up things. Why don't you jump in here?
Yeah, thanks, Mark. So Ed, you mentioned you really like the social aspect and the family social aspect of it. Do you have any specific rituals around whiskey when celebrating certain milestones through the years?
Um, well, I mean, we would always sip on some whiskey when, I'd do some good things in my career. Um, those were always times of celebration for sure, and there were a lot of them. For me being so lucky to be on so many great teams, so I had a chance to definitely experience that quite often. And after uh, you know, probably whenever we have milestones with our business, um, we definitely break out. We like to break out Dane's rye whiskey, which represents our first 12 barrels that we made. And this is the beautiful packaging
Yes.
Very
that
nice.
those 12 barrels represent. Dane and I went to school to learn how to make the whiskey and everything about this business that we could educate ourselves on to help us be successful and get into this business. We've been at this 8 years, and we just didn't want to be, like a lot of the other celebrities have done, is just slap their name on a bulk spirit, and they don't know that much about the business or anything about the product. Um, so we didn't want that. We take a lot of pride in everything we do. When we put on our jerseys and go out there on the ice and perform, we're performing for the Belfour family and for our team and for our fans. And, we want to be the best we can be. And the same thing with our whiskeys. We want to make sure, that we're putting our best foot forward. Yeah, sure. We make mistakes just like, we did in our hockey careers, but you learn from your mistakes and you get better. And we're always trying to improve our whiskey. So, we went to school. Um, we learned how to make the juice, and Dane got to do an internship at Woody Creek Distilleries in Basalt, Colorado. Great people up there. Mark Kleckner and his crew. Very thankful for them. Dave Matthews and Pat and Mary, and just allowing Dane to come in there and work at the distillery every day, and then coach hockey at night. It was a perfect situation for him. Um,
Awesome.
but I remember the day he called me. He was filling the last barrel, and he was crying. He had tears in his eyes. He's like, "Dad, oh my gosh, the White Dog's amazing. You hit the button on the head. Uh, with the mash bill. Like I did a lot of research on our first mash bill, and that just led into more research on every mash bill, and that's a 70-20-10. Uh, from the research I did, it was a northeastern mash bill from Pennsylvania, and I believe it's really balanced. Uh, the rye whiskeys that I grew up on were very potent and spicy and hot, and I wanted ours to just be a little bit more toned down a bit, and that mash bill worked out perfectly for us. And every time we do a milestone or something good happens, we like to sip on Dane's rye whiskey.
Nice.
We always save a few bottles around here, and we're actually planning a trip up to Woody Creek here in the next couple of weeks because it just turned. We saved 2 barrels. We dumped 10, and so that represents the beautiful bottle I just showed you with the chalice on top. We saved 2 barrels. 1 barrel's going to Canada, which
Nice.
we it would have been there already, but with COVID, it didn't make it there yet. But so only 1 barrel of that, and it just turned 4 years old, April 1st. So we're really excited about going up there to try it and see how it tastes at 4 years old. The stuff in the bottle is just right around 2.5 years old.
Nice.
So it's fabulous the way it is. But I'm really excited about trying the 4-year-old stuff. And then the last barrel we'll save, um, our plan is to let it age to be 10 years old and then do a special bottle and maybe a special top on it too. So
Wow.
it's been a lot of fun working on this wonderful business with my kids. And like you were saying, celebratory times. We break out Dane's whiskey, and hopefully we'll always be able to do that.
That's outstanding. That sounds like an outstanding celebratory bottle. Just related to enjoying whiskey, do you have any favorite pairings, cigars, food, anything you like to pair with your whiskeys?
Yeah, so I'm not the cigar aficionado, but I want to learn more about it. That's an aspect we wanted to have at our distillery. Dane knows a lot more about cigars than I do, and we definitely want to get into that. But my favorite is desserts with whiskey. So I
Nice.
like I like carrot cake and certain types of chocolate cake with my whiskey, and I like barrel strength bourbon the best
Yes, me
uh,
as well.
with dessert. So always enjoy that, and that'll be another aspect that we have at our distillery is a awesome dessert menu to go with the bourbons and the rye whiskey.
That's awesome. If you ever need any cigar notes, I actually write cigar reviews for the magazine. So
Oh,
just
yeah,
reach out, I'll let you know.
thank you.
Ed, we need
Cameron,
to, Ed, we need to have you on, and we need to have you doing a pairing of whiskeys with desserts. I'm envisioning this live event where you've got a carrot cake, you've got a chocolate cake, you've got maybe cheesecake, and you've paired up all of these things. I hope that there's a future opportunity for us to have that conversation. And then when you want to talk about cigars, we'll bring you back and we'll have you
Right.
talk to Sean for sure.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's like you get a whole new explosion of flavors in your mouth when you sip on that whiskey with the desserts, and
mhm.
I don't know, they just pair so well together.
We've talked to a lot of people, and you're one of the very few people who has actually come out and said that. I know that there's a lot of people that enjoy that, but I know it's not something that's unique to you, but it's definitely very interesting about the flavor profiles that you like to focus on, but then also pairing it up with that food. A lot of people just like to drink whiskey by itself, but I think you're absolutely correct. I think those people are missing out because food like desserts or any other thing that you happen to be eating, it just brings out different flavors in the whiskey. It's
Yep.
It
fantastic.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's delve a little bit more into Belfour spirits. I am absolutely enchanted with the idea that this is a family business. The Belfour mash bill recipe that you have come up with, you've put all of these things into motion. You talked about the genesis of this being your son writing a paper and working through this. Talk us through a little bit more of that. Was it, how did you get to the point to where you said, wow, we can really make this happen, we can turn this into a business, and then like you said, all of a sudden you've got 2,700 barrels.
Yeah. So it started out with the idea and the family business idea, and Dane doing that paper, I think was the spark that we needed to get us going in the right direction. I wanted, after getting into the conversation with Dane and Reagan, Reagan's my daughter. Um, I wanted something that could last, for hundreds of years and always stay in the Belfour name, and whiskey has survived, you know, through depressions, and it does great, you know, all the time. So, for celebrating and for, celebrations and partying and, you know, all the awesome cocktails you can make with it. It just seemed like a good business fit also. Um, but at the same time, my career, I had an awesome career, obviously, and played on so many great teams and championships. And like you said, 19, 20 years or, you know, 20 some years of playing hockey and traveling the world and, making so many new friends and stuff. And, it taught me a lot about life. And, I missed that void of not playing anymore and being with my
Sure.
teammates. So we wanted to be in a business that we could still have a lot of fun and have some freedoms and, you know, do some fun things together. Um, but, you know, like I said, Belfour whiskey could go on, Belfour spirits could go on for hundreds of years. And,
Sure.
you know, people will probably look back and they'll probably, you know, remember the Belfour family for the whiskey, probably not my hockey career.
I don't know about that. Let's be realistic, okay? You've got a pretty hallowed place in history from the hockey perspective, and um, you know, whiskey's a slam dunk from my perspective. I don't think that there is any such thing as bad whiskey. You had mentioned, you know, learning and making mistakes. In my opinion, there is no such thing as bad whiskey. If you're making whiskey and putting it out there, you're either hitting it on the head or you're learning, and that's not a bad place to be. Interesting question about that. Not a setup. I'm being very genuine here. Last night, there was actually a post where somebody bought your whiskey and posted a picture of it. It's very common for people to post pictures, and they said, "Hey, this is from that guy who played hockey. And, you know, does anybody know anything about this?" And that was actually a really great moment to share. And I'm happy to be able to share that with you. Sean, I know you had a thought on that. We were talking a little bit earlier.
Just with yeah, the beautiful bottle and how everyone enjoys it and the beautiful labels. I know there's something to do with the eagle that adorns the top of the bottle. Would you elaborate on the origins of the new sort of stylized eagle for the beautiful bottle you've chosen?
Yeah, so um, that's a great question and an awesome story. My good friend Jeff Friesen, who ran Carmen Customs for me while I was playing my hockey career, that's another one of my loves is muscle cars and street rods and all, you know, all the old drag racing stuff. And I drag raced myself a little bit and always enjoyed street racing. And Jeff and I grew up kind of street racing together, so it was a lot of fun. And he ran the shop. We built some beautiful cars and had a lot of fun doing that. And when we won the Stanley Cup in '99 with the Dallas Stars, his daughter was just born, and we have a picture somewhere of her in the Stanley Cup, and she is the one who designed the new eagle. So very proud of that fact. Abby Friesen,
Amazing.
uh, you know, one of my best friend's daughters, designed the new eagle, and her and I worked closely together with that eagle. We wanted the eagle to be, you know, as fierce and you know, as passionate looking as all the eagles I had on my mask. But we wanted it to be you know, a little bit more geometric and a little bit more of a um, just a touch more fierce looking. And you know, I think she did a great job with it. And I was so proud to put it on her bottle, and it's on the cork and it's on the neck label. So it was a lot of fun creating that. And
It's a great logo, and the theme is, it's Art Deco, you know, from the glass, from the bottle, from the script on the bottle, the wings and the eagle. It all just comes together
yeah,
very nicely, and it just screams a very classy package. It's awesome.
yeah, thank you, Mark.
You're welcome.
That was definitely our inspiration. Was the Roaring Twenties. Like I was telling you, my grandma and grandpa, we have this beautiful photo of them all dressed up and decked out in their duds in the 20s. And, you know, we really liked uh, that Gatsby era, you know,
Hmm.
that celebration era in Art Deco. So we wanted our bottle to be very unique when it's sitting on the shelves, you know, whether it's a back bar or if it's at the liquor store and you're walking down the aisles. You know, we wanted to have that presence so people would be like, "Oh, well, that's unique. Let's see what that's about." And you know, not everybody knows my name or our family name, but the bottle can, I think, help create that recognition. And we also wanted to separate ourselves from the rest of the pack. There's so many regular bottles out there.
Sure.
Um, sure, we spend a little extra money on our bottle and our packaging. You know, that represents about 2 years of work, that bottle.
Wow.
Version, probably I tell everybody, well, version 100 is what you see. know. So it was a lot of fun to create it, and uh, so thankful that it turned out the way it did.
It's working because it's catching people's eyes, and it's definitely a very beautiful bottle, and the juice inside is just as good. I'll tell you that. You've touched on this a little bit, and I really want to focus on this because I think it's an important discussion, because it's something that you have built upon with your NHL career. Clearly, you've passed this along to your children and the family business. But talk to me a little bit about what you feel are your values that you attribute to success.
Well, I think, the values would be determination for sure. Like I'm probably one of the most determined people, and never give up. There's always going to be bumps in the road, and things that don't go your way. And yeah, you know what, you're going to get upset, you're going to get angry, and, peeved off, but you just keep moving forward, and you just never give up. Um, I think definitely attention to detail. Like I'm a very detailed guy, and with my equipment, uh, with my positioning in the net, I had to adapt. I didn't play the same way at the end of my career as I did at the beginning.
Sure.
If you tried playing the same way as you did, your first year, you probably would maybe last 3 or 4 years, and the shooters are going to figure out, the scouts are going to figure out, and tell their shooters how to score on you. So you have to get better, you have to evolve, and that's the way I treat our whiskey business, Belfour Spirits. We're always trying to improve our products. We do a lot of research and development behind the scenes. Um, so those are some of the things that have really helped me. You got to have faith, and believe in yourself, believe in your
Yep.
team, and you know, and you got to love what you're doing. Like ever since I was probably 4 years old, watching Hockey Night in Canada with my parents. There's only 6 teams back then, and I knew I loved the game right from the beginning. So you got to love what you're doing, and all those other things that I mentioned, and you just got to every day wake up and be glad you're in that position, and you go and you give 110%, and you just keep moving forward.
Very wise words. You don't spend 20 years in the NHL on accident, and you don't build a future-proof whiskey business on accident either. So I admire the fact that you have those base values baked into the company. So
Well,
I understand.
Thank for that.
Tell me.
Two. First, God. God gave me the talent I have,
Great.
and my mom, mom and dad. Mom always told me, she's like, ever since I was little, she's like, Eddie, you can do whatever you put your mind to doing, and you just go out there and do it. And she told that to Dane and my kids too. So she's such a big supporter and such a positive influence. I'm so blessed with the parents that I, were born into this world to have.
Outstanding.
Thanks, Mom.
Exactly.
Yes, no easier way to put it than that. So listen, I understand that there's some exciting developments. You talked a little bit about it, but what does the future hold for Belfour Spirits?
Well, like I was mentioning earlier, we're working on landing Belfour Spirits a home for its distillery. Right now we're contracting with Southern Distilling out of North Carolina, Pete and Vienna Barger. They've been great to work with. They let us come in and do what we need to do to get our bourbon and rye whiskey ready, and we're so thankful for that. And same thing at Woody Creek. But we're looking forward to having our own place, calling it home. Having our own equipment. We've been working on that, probably for the last 4 years, trying to, narrow it down which equipment we want to order and what size of distillery we want to build. So that's definitely, on our agenda every day. We're coming out with our straight, uh, small batch straight bourbon whiskey here next month.
Hmm.
We're excited about that. That's our first straight bourbon product that we're introducing to our fans. Um, it turned out fabulous. Uh, there's not a lot of it. If I remember right, we dumped 92 barrels. So, uh, we're always trying to do unique uh, and special products like our special edition straight rye whiskey, which was a tribute to my
Hmm.
school, University, the Fighting Sioux, and
Fighting Sioux, yeah.
my teammates and the coaches there. It turned out great. It was 106 proof. It's my favorite rye out of all of ours. I love it so much. Get a lot of compliments on that, but we're always trying to do like really unique products and small batches that aren't, you know, too many barrels. Maybe someday we'll do something that's a little on the higher end amount of barrels, but right now we've been doing a lot of, between um, single barrel picks, um, you know, anywhere from 10 to like the 90 barrels.
Nice. Good
Wow,
stuff.
nice. Do you have a location picked out, or are you still scouting locations?
We're still scouting locations, but we've looked in Kentucky. We've met with some wonderful people there. Kentucky's obviously would be a great place to you know make great bourbon and be part of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. We've also looked quite a few places here in Texas. Now we're all from Texas. We all live here in Texas now, and went in the Stanley Cup here in '99. So we have a lot of roots here, a lot of great friends, and Texas bourbons have come on strong in the last few years, and so we're kind of leaning towards being here in Texas, and I
Hmm.
think that's probably what's going to happen. Where exactly, we're not 100% sure yet, but we're excited about the opportunities that have presented themselves, and we can't wait to announce it. So, looking forward to that day.
What's
Well,
it?
please, I hope that in the future, when you are ready to talk about that, you are more than welcome to come sit in the chair and have a conversation with us. We would be happy to communicate all the details, where you're going to be, what all the fun is going to be at the distillery, the tastings that you can do. We really want to be an advocate for you from that perspective. I think it's fantastic what it is that you're doing. Great question, because another question that we've kind of talked about a little bit is, where can you find Belfour Spirits?
Yeah, so we started off in Texas, Illinois, South Dakota, North Dakota, and now we're in Michigan, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Tennessee, South Carolina. We just opened New York and New Jersey, and we just got word that we're going to be opening here soon in California and Florida.
Great.
So yeah,
So
so
you,
we're so excited to open that many states in such a short period of time, and this year, especially after the last year here. Um, the everybody's been great to work with, and I'll tell you a story. So when we opened in North Dakota, which was obviously, I have some good friends back there, and playing for the Sioux back home did make a difference. But we sold in 3 days. We were at 4 events, and we sold 110 cases.
oh wow.
Wow.
It was awesome, and we had so much fun doing that. I look forward to getting back there. And when we go to new states, we send in our sales team. They go around with all the distributor salespeople, and it's great to work with them and get out and meet folks. We do, we do signings and promote every part of what we do. And the people here in Texas have been awesome to work with, Southern Glazers, and it's
Hmm.
just been a great relationship here in Texas. Um, And then if you go to our website and you type in, so our website's belfourspirits.com, and you go to the search engine there and you put in your zip code, it'll tell you the closest restaurants and liquor stores to you within your search radius. So if you put in, 10 miles, it'll tell you within 10 miles where we're at. Try to be a little patient with that because we're always updating that, and sometimes it lags a little bit.
So for us Canucks, when can I get my hands on one of these bottles up in Canada?
Well, we just had a conversation with Southern Glazers in Canada because that's who we're with there, and they're telling us that the borders are still pretty shut down, and the all the because it's a lot of government that you have to deal with there to get the liquor on the shelves.
Yep.
So there's a lot of things that are still, putting a hamper on that. And, they said they let us know as soon as possible when we could come on up and start promoting, our brand and get out there and, meet folks. And I know I'm hoping sometime this summer
I
they'll
can't
open
wait.
it up for us. And I know, and I hadn't been able to go visit my mom and dad either. So, that's going on
Oh,
a couple years, and they're getting older. So they're 89 and 88 years old, and they usually drive down here every year. But because of what's happened, they haven't been able to come. And my dad still is in great shape. He plants the garden every summer, and
Oh wow.
um,
great.
he says, as soon as that border opens, we'll be coming down, and then I'm sure they'll be bringing whiskey back home.
He could stop at my place and drop a couple bottles off.
Shh, we don't talk about that.
Yeah.
Well, Ed, I hope you understand that you have great friends here at the Whiskey Network. We are big fans, and we would love to help promote you and get you bigger in all of the places that you are. If you happen to be doing something in California, I hope there's an opportunity for us, socially distanced and safely, being able to cover that or support you in that effort. And then, of course, when you open up in Canada, we'd be happy to discuss that. Anytime you feel like you have something to discuss, you are more than welcome to come sit with us, and we would be happy to tell that story. So thank you for all of that.
Well,
Now,
thank you.
you're welcome. There's a very special treat here at the end of the interview. Don't be nervous, it's not a test. But what we like to do is we like to ask the same 5 questions to all of our guests. These are built from the most common questions that get asked in our social media community. So it's kind of a fun thing. Just tell me what comes to the top of your mind, and we'll just have some fun with it. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. This is easier than a penalty shot, Ed. I promise. I'm a horrible shot. I was a defenseman. I was built to protect you, not to score on you. Okay. Okay. So the
Best
first question.
friends, right?
Absolutely, yes. Well, your best friend is the pipes, and then your second best friend is me. What was the last whiskey, bourbon, or scotch that was in your glass?
Belfour Spirits.
Of course it was. Which one was it?
It was the rye whiskey, our
Perfect.
regular rye.
And that is an excellent, excellent spirit. I love that. Do you prefer to drink your whiskey from a specific type of glass?
Well, we have our own glasses at Belfour Spirits, but I like the Glencairn glasses.
Nice.
I'm holding a picture up here, Sean, so you can see the
Yeah.
promo. That's your glass right there.
Oh,
And it has
Yeah, and that's what we do a lot. Most of our tastings out of is that little glass, and that little shot glass is exactly what my dad had at home when I was a kid. So I remember those little glasses like that, and I don't know, it just brings back neat memories.
And for the viewers or for later when I write this up, it's a little shot glass. It's square in nature, and it has the bespoke eagle logo on it. So that is fantastic. Over my shoulder here, this is a 2th glass. It's very similar to the Glencairn, just slightly a little bit different. Okay. Do you have a unicorn bottle?
So I like the Elijah Craig Barrel Strength 136 proof. And that one, it's, I think there's still a couple of them out there, but they're hard to find.
Okay. Whiskey Network, you heard him. Work your magic. So Belfour Spirits, get in touch, okay?
I mean, think about that. How did they even get that to be 136 proof? Like that's, like I have the 132 and I have the, I think it's 127 or maybe somewhere around there. And then I saw one that was 136. They must do some special room where they age it in to get the proof to that high level, or the barrels are staying at the maybe the hottest point in the barrel warehouse.
Yeah, the most evaporation probably. There's actually an Alberta premium cask strength that just came out at 66%. So yeah, 132. So yeah.
You are a god among men to be able to drink that level of proof, because I tap out about 112. And I'm not saying that I'm great shakes either. I'm just saying, to get that high, to be able to stand that.
Well, the one thing about the Elijah Craig is it's even at that higher proof, it's still really smooth. And that's what, you know, I want to achieve with our products and we're working on it right now.
Nice.
Is to try and create our barrel strength so it's really smooth and easy to drink at a high proof level like that. And, you know, obviously we're still a young company, so it's going to take me a while to get to those higher proof points, but I promise you this, I will try my hardest to get, you know, somewhere up there where the Elijah Craig is.
Nice.
Great. If you need a taste tester, I'm not far from Texas. I'm just saying. And I'm a tenderfoot, so I would give you that. I'd give you that scale of the tasting. Okay, I've got a hypothetical question for you. I know what the answer is, but I'm going to ask it anyways because I think it's a great answer. I am looking for a gift for a friend. The budget is somewhere between $50 and $75. What would you recommend?
Pecan bourbon.
Absolutely. Home run, slam dunk. I totally agree. That is a great bottle. It is a very unique bottle. Absolutely 100% agree. Okay, the final question. This is a great question and I love it. Do you have a favorite toast?
I always toast to happiness and good health.
Happiness and good health. I love it. Mr. Belfour, you have been very generous with your time. Thank you so much for bringing everything that you have brought to the Whiskey Network audience today. I'm sure that people are going to be very happy to learn about Belfour Spirits, where you can find them, belfourspirits.com, all of the different varieties that you have, and some of the plans that you have in store. Thank you so much. Sean, did you have anything that you wanted to cover additional?
No, just it's an honor for you to take your time out to be with us, and thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for saying, Sean. Thanks, Mark, for having me. Is my pleasure, and just really enjoyed the opportunity.
Thank you, Ed.